Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It was a night of bad promos and botched spots all throughout Monday Night Raw tonight. They were so terrible with their creative decisions, they even threw in an electrocution. There was an electrocution tonight on Monday Night Raw. There was a failed Money in the Bank cash-in attempt. There was a failure in the department of making new superstars, as we had a new superstar, or a somewhat new superstar, make their debut tonight, and they failed her tremendously. And then, to put the cherry on top, we even had a game of hot potato. And it wasn't a long game of hot potato, but hot potato is what it was. And on a night where seemingly nothing went right, we are going to talk about everything wrong with tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. And we're going to do that right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
This was a show where nothing at all happened. Nothing. If you watched last week and then missed this week and go to next week's show, you will have effectively missed absolutely nothing, with the exception of AJ Styles being named the new number one contender thanks to his victory in the triple threat match tonight. They wanted you to think that was special. They wanted you to think everything on this show was special, because almost every match tonight had some sort of special connotation to it. Like the first match of the night being the final chapter in Jeff Hardy and Elias's long-running, heated feud. And not only is it going to be the final chapter, it's also going to be a Symphony of Destruction match. Just like the triple threat was a sudden death triple threat match. It wasn't a normal triple threat, it was just a sudden death triple threat. What was so sudden death about it? It's hyperbole. They're just trying to make you think that these things are bigger than they are, and they're not. It's just a simple number one contenders match to see who's going to face the new Drew McIntyre. Old Braveheart himself. Man, can they get any more 90s with Drew McIntyre right now? They're giving him dad jokes, really lame uncle jokes. They're giving him every single cliche in the world to possibly say, you may have won the battle, but I'm going to win the war. Get it, got it, good. Like, just pulling all of these phrases right out of the 90s, right from the set of Friends, and throwing it in the mouth of the WWE champion. And what's with the sword and all the kilt and all? He was so much cooler in NXT, dressed in the leather, just badass, a little bit of himself in there. I guess, he is Scottish, but did we have to go full Mel Gibson with this guy or what? That's how out of touch and trapped in their own minds Bruce and Vince are with this show. It's unbelievable. Just look at how they opened up tonight. Tonight opens up with a moment of bliss. They've been hyping it up for a week. Randy Orton's going to be on a moment of bliss. What's going to happen when he sees the Fiend's main squeeze? Well, you know what happened? Nothing. Randy Orton came out and did the Randy Orton thing, the very boring, same old promo, talking about how he has already faced Bray Wyatt. He mentioned that he's already been done with Bray Wyatt. He's already extinguished him, and he's already dealt with Bray Wyatt, and he doesn't want to do this anymore, apparently. He's exposed his weaknesses already. But I guess he hasn't exposed the Fiend's weakness, but he thinks he knows what the Fiend's weakness is. And he thinks it's Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss is sitting there. She's sitting on a baby chair. And she's conducting this interview. She's chuckling like a little baby. She's just telling Randy Orton that he's the one that's really being manipulated. This was a very confusing, very, very bad segment. It was poorly written. And then out of nowhere, the Fiend shows up, as you would expect. The lights go out. The lights come back on, everything is red, and Randy Orton is holding Alexa Bliss, holding her like a baby in his arms. And then he tosses her like a hot potato to the Fiend, just not even really a toss. He should have threw her at him. That would have made it a little bit more intense, but he kind of just handed Alexa to the Fiend, and the Fiend was very generous, and he took this. He's, oh, thank you. Is this a gift for me? Why, thank you very much. All of a sudden, the Fiend cares very deeply. I guess this is the weakness he's trying to expose, and the Fiend's just accepting of the gift of bliss. Well, thank you very much for this hot piece of ass. I'm going to take it like a hot potato and go bake it back in the oven back in my house. I don't know. I'm just saying this is something that the Fiend might do to a hot potato. He's going to bake it in his house, and Alexa Bliss certainly is a hot potato. I don't know. I'm just trying to make something out of the analogy. All I'm saying is this was pointless. It was as pointless and as useless as my stupid potato analogy. Listen, nothing happened. Nothing happened. And then Randy Orton runs away after he throws Alexa at the Fiend, or places her in his arms, and he goes, who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? You know who was laughing? Vince McMahon was laughing. He probably thought it was hysterical. Ha 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 ha. Did you see? That's so poignant. It's so meaningful. It's gotta mean something because it's the Viper. I wasn't laughing. I certainly wasn't laughing. Who's laughing now? Not this guy, because I don't find this funny. I was one of the people that was on the mountain saying that, you know, Randy Orton versus The Fiend could be some really good stuff. But it's not getting off to such a good start on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Speaking of the start of this show, the final chapter, Jeff Hardy versus Elias, was given a decent amount of time. The problem was that they made it this Symphony of Destruction match. They called it the final chapter, and they're going to blow this off on a random Monday Night Raw with no build to this feud that's supposed to be such a big deal. It was so important for you to bring it back, and you really didn't have any long-term plans. We're just going to blow it off tonight, and we're going to throw instruments all around the ring, and we're going to have this matchup, Jeff Hardy versus Elias. And again, Elias loses. This is what, like the fourth match to Jeff Hardy this guy has lost since his return. Elias can go right back to the dumpster where he was hanging out before, playing his guitar for a couple of pennies by passersby going down the alley that he should be living in, because he's a bum. He's a bum, and he doesn't need to be in this company anymore. He's absolutely worthless. He's worthless. I don't care about your hit singles. I don't care about your albums. I don't care about any of that shit. It's irrelevant because you can't win. And it's obvious with a match like this to see the trend in the WWE that's going to continue, which is if you're an old guy or you're from the generations that have proven to be successful and popular, you're going to win. We're not going to make any new stars. This was your chance to relaunch Elias. Have him dominate Jeff Hardy at every turn. Make him a viable threat. Make him look like a superstar. Instead, you make him look like a jackass. And you have also, as part of this match, the, hey, look at me, I'm a clown 24/7, avocado toast colored, gold-plated championship belt segment of the night. What are they doing out there? This is supposed to be such a serious encounter. It's supposed to be the final chapter. And you got these shenanigans going on. And then you got the assholes at the desk laughing throughout this matchup. They're not even selling it as dramatic or important. They're laughing when Elias is getting electrocuted. Elias takes a broken piece of guitar, tries to stab Jeff Hardy with it. Jeff Hardy moves out of the way. He ends up going to the back of an amplifier, and then we had a Gold Dust style electrocution. I thought for sure that we were going to see Elias start stuttering immediately after that. Remember when Gold Dust got electrocuted and was like with Booker T? It was some really good shit, but we don't need to rehash the old stuff that worked. All right, it's not going to be any good for Elias for him to be a stuttering jackass now. Or maybe it will be, because right now, what is he worth? He's worth about 2 dimes and a nickel. And if you rub them together, they still won't make a quarter. Absolute garbage to start off this show. You know what else I can't stand about this company is they're flopping back and forth with characters. All right, you got a guy like Matt Riddle, who's no longer Matt Riddle, he's just Riddle. For some strange reason. Maybe Vince McMahon's got a hard-on for Batman all of a sudden. I don't know. But they took Matt Riddle, and they took a guy that could be kind of amusing in the right atmosphere, but should be somewhat serious in order to make him feel like a threat. They're writing AJ Styles as if he's a 14-year-old pothead idiot. As if the man has no brain. Is he the town jerk-off now? Like, I don't understand. You took away his first name? Does that mean you took away his brains as well? Talking about being weedless with your cousins in a farm somewhere, and he thinks AJ Styles is cute and looks like a fucking rabbit. But what is happening to Matt Riddle? Riddle me this. Why does he call AJ Styles Skipper? Riddle me that. Well, the answer is because he kind of looks like his cute rabbit who was also named Skipper. Oh my God. Never mind the name of the rabbit. What about the name of AJ's big gigantic bodyguard? Now, last week we thought his name was Hummus, right? We said it sounded like they named this guy Hummus, but actually his name is Almost. Almost. That's what it is. I think Vince looked at this guy and said, he's almost as big as Andre. He's almost as scary as the Great Khali. We're going to call him Almost. And with that, one snap of the finger, this guy was almost a big deal in the WWE. He was almost a future superstar, but they gave him a name like Almost, and now he's also a jokester. He's a fucking comedian. You got AJ Styles standing in the back with a pie, I guess because it's Thanksgiving, so he got a fucking pie on set, right? So AJ Styles is standing there with a pie, and he's like, pie. And then Almost was like, that is not a pie, that is a cupcake. And I'm like, oh, I get it, because he's a giant, so to him, a pie would be a cupcake. But let me tell you something, a cupcake is not that flat. I don't know where Almost is getting his cupcakes from, but they certainly don't look like a fucking pizza pie. Cupcakes are big and fluffy and delicious, and they look like a baseball or a cantaloupe or something like that. They don't look like a pie. So I understand the joke that you were trying to make, but it really didn't make sense. It made the guy look stupid because a fucking pie is not a cupcake. Why are we talking about pies and cupcakes? Because this is what WWE makes us have to fucking talk about. I gotta talk about AJ Styles being a fucking rabbit, and I gotta talk about Almost thinking pies are cupcakes. What is going on in this fucking company? This guy is gigantic. He should be being treated with care. He should be being pushed with great care and concentration so that they don't fuck it up. But when you send them out of the gate with a name like Almost, he's already gone. He's already failed. Might as well just put, who's going to get behind Almost? You hear the crowd, Almost. That means this guy's just never going to make it. He's almost going to be the champion. Almost. His whole fucking career. Almost. This guy was almost a big deal, and then they named him Almost. God. In other news, terrible news, Mustafa Ali. Oh, wait, before we move on. Somebody has to tell Jeff Hardy to calm the fuck down. All right? Dude, you're 40-something years old. You don't need to be doing flips and shit. This guy executed I think it was a swanton bomb off the top to the outside through a table in which Elias was laid upon. This was the finish of the match. But he crashed and burned at the same time. Looked like he broke his fucking neck. Alright, somebody needs to tell him that he's Jeff Hardy. And sure, people expect high flying and stuff like that, but he doesn't need to do these spots where he's going to die. So let's take it down a notch, Jeff. You could be extreme without trying to fucking murder yourself, bro. Come on. So now, Matt Riddle was in the back being fucking retarded, talking to Keith Lee, who was warming up in the back. He made some stupid joke. I don't care. I don't care anything about it. They're making him look like a jackass. Retribution then cut a promo because they're going to be fighting with Ricochet again. They want to know why Ricochet won't come around. Why Ricochet is fighting against them so hard. And that Ali knows that Ricochet needs to be a part of Retribution. He knows what he needs. And if Ricochet continues to reject them, he will face the consequences. What fucking consequences? You guys keep going away for 3 weeks. I think Ricochet will be fine. I'll deal with them this week, and then they'll be gone for a while, and then I'll deal with them again when they show up and they don't have anything else to do with them, so obviously I'll have to take on one of the other jerk-offs in this fucking group. And this is all to promote and build up to a match for Slapnuts. Slapnuts came out to the ring with Mustafa Ali, and then he had this matchup with Ricochet, which lasted about as long as a hiccup, making Ricochet look like a dumbass again. And here it is. Once again, you have Slapjack got the win, all right? I don't know why. I don't know why. They even gave him promo time. This guy's in the back spazzing out with a paper plate on his face, looking like the mummy's second favorite adopted nephew son, or whatever. Fucking awful. Really terrible. Then he goes out and he has this match. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long, maybe, and I'm being generous there. Slapjack gets the win thanks to the interference of Dana Brooke. What? Dana Brooke needs to retire from wrestling right now because this woman's got a future in the world of magic. She appeared out of nowhere, slapped Ali right across his face, and then boom, disappeared. She just vanished during the commercial break. She came out, she slapped Ali in the face. He was like, "Where's your girl, huh? Where's your girl at? Tell her I said hello." And then they went to commercial break, and then Dana Brooke was gone, and then all of a sudden, the match was over. Slapjack got the win, thanks to Teabag and Waste coming out there. Let me ask you guys a question. Why are these two guys not being booked in the tag team division? Xavier Woods had a great question tonight. It's a question we've all been asking, is where are all the other tag teams? Great question, Xavier. You don't have any other tag teams. The Miz and Morrison, nobody wants to see them, but they're the only other tag team outside of the Hurt Business and the New Day on Monday Night Raw. Why aren't two of these idiots being booked in the tag team division? Imagine Teabag and Waste as the Retribution tag team, the representatives in that division. That gives the New Day something new to do, somebody new to face, somebody you could build up. You have them beat the Hurt Business. You have them beat Miz and Morrison. You have them earn their way to the championship. You want to throw a few random tag teams in the way? That's fine too. Have them beat Drew and Sheamus. Who the hell cares at this point? That's how you make new stars. You don't make new stars by having a guy like Ricochet losing in 3 minutes to the least threatening member of this team, and it also had to involve Dana Brooke. This was terrible, and this was the end of the first hour, and I already wanted to tap out. And then they made it even worse because we had a Miz TV segment. The funniest thing about this whole thing with Miz TV tonight was the suit that the Miz decided to wear. I was cracking up. This guy looked like a fucking idiot. I don't know what designer designed that suit, and I don't really care. It looked like he was wearing wrinkled paper. And it was all just black and white. It was a fucking terrible suit. Very loud, very distracting, awful. But the funniest thing about the segment, all their little jokes and shit were not funny. What was funny was his choice of attire. Then Sheamus was the guest. He got railed on by Miz and Morrison. They were making fun of him for not being relevant anymore. He was a top guy all these years ago. Yada, yada, yada. You know, the same old fucking routine and the same exact things that could be being said to the Miz and John Morrison. But no. It's the pot calling the kettle black, don't you think? Then they beat up Sheamus with the briefcase at the end of this segment. Sheamus apparently is now a good guy. He's in alignment with Drew McIntyre. Drew McInfart. We'll see where that leads. I certainly hope they don't big show him and turn him good just to turn him heel very quickly. If they're going to make him have this run with Drew, at least make it last. Make it last. Give us a while. Don't big show him. It's not fair to him or to us. Just like the women's tag team champions tonight, this whole segment wasn't fair to anybody. Because this was full of botches. This match was terrible. Nia Jax was out of position multiple times in this matchup. Lana looked like she just had no idea what she was doing in there. She took a couple of nice bumps, but for the most part, she's still just wailing and flailing in there like a girl, like a diva. She performs as if she's still a diva and not a professional women's wrestler, and that just annoys me. Annoys me. And you got nothing better for Asuka and Shayna Baszler to do than to be in this match. The fact that I have to say those two names and mention them being on Monday Night Raw and they're not being juxtaposed against one another to be battling for the Raw Women's Championship is one of the biggest things wrong I could tell you about this show. But instead I have to watch Shayna being put into this irrelevant and stupid tag team because Vince wants to get Nia over, so he's going to get her over off the success of Shayna Baszler. And then the same could be said with this Asuka Atlanta team, which has just come out of nowhere because they don't know what to do with Asuka since they got her only viable challenger tied up in the tag division. We'll have her team with Lana, and now we're going to make Lana pin Shayna Baszler. We now, as of November 30th, 2020, live in a world where Lana has pinned Shayna Baszler, and it's not a place where I want to be anymore. I can't wait for this year to be over. 2020, you've done enough. You've done enough, sir. You could take a seat and get the fuck on out of here. All right? I can't wait for 2021. I hope to God, whatever God you believe in, that it's a better year. Professionally, in the world of wrestling, in the world itself. Because how much worse can it get? We got Lana pinning Shayna Baszler. It's just terrible stuff. Terrible stuff, and I don't give a shit where this is going. Do you? How can you have those two women in this match and the main focal point, the main driving force for creative is to get Lana over? What? This was really, really bad. Really bad stuff. Just like having to see the Hurt Business come out constantly over and over and just say the same thing. I like the idea of the Hurt Business. I like what they're doing, but it just seems so random. And the best thing about this segment, as the New Day was cutting their promo prior to their matchup tonight, was that when the Hurt Business came out, Xavier Woods very clearly said, where are all the other teams? Where are all the other tag teams? Thought it was great. And I'm sure he probably is going to get into a little bit of trouble. But if they cut him off, he's going to go to G4 and be an excellent host on G4. And that'll be just fine. Anyway, Cedric Alexander comes out with MVP and Shelton Benjamin. They have a little conversation, which ends up leading into their match. Cedric Alexander defeats Xavier Woods. So here, again, we had Lana and Asuka beating the tag team champions for the second time in 2 weeks. And once again, we have a champion in Xavier Woods being beaten to establish some new contenders for them. But are they new? No, it's just the same team they've already beaten 3 times. And I thought that was very telling that the New Day came out here tonight and they were like, well, we already beat you guys 3 times. And then MVP wanted to say, well, last time was controversial. The whole count-out thing, the botch in the ending shouldn't have happened. And it really means they're 2-2 and they want another shot at the championship. Got a little muddled. It got a little stupid. Got a little Matt Riddle territory, if you're asking me. But this was a decent match between these two guys. I think they have tremendous chemistry. I think Xavier Woods is tremendously underrated. He's been in the tag team division so long. We haven't seen him wrestle a singles match on Raw, and they gave the stat. It's just not that important enough to remember in my head, but it's been quite some time. Very impressive win here for Cedric Alexander. It's just setting up the inevitable because there's nowhere else to go in the tag team division. And we're going to see the New Day versus the Hurt Business once again, most likely at TLC, maybe even in a TLC match by the time we get there. Then we had another segment. This was the segment with the pie in the back. I don't care. We're not going to talk about it again. Matt Riddle talking about his pet turtle named Hoppy, his pet rabbit named Skipper, and AJ Styles being super cute. AJ Styles gets pissed off, pushes him, and walks away. He didn't take too kindly for any of this. This was all over a fucking carrot joke. And almost knew the punchline. He got this joke. I didn't get the joke. He's talking about carrots and skippers and shit. But almost knows the name of Matt Riddle's rabbit. Because he explains it to AJ Styles. He's like, no, Skipper is his rabbit. Ha 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 ha. What the hell was the slogan for 7-Up? I just had it in my head and I was going to do it and I can't remember now. Shit, I'm going to have to look that up and bring that to the show. There used to be a slogan back in the 80s, 7-Up, and it was a dude like Omos, and he used to say some shit with the can. If you remember it, drop it in the comments down below. You know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, that's what he reminds me of. We're going to get that. We're going to get that clip, and that's going to be our Omos clip once I find it going forward on this show. It's like Smooth Man or something. Oh my God, I can't remember. Never mind. Let's move along. Triple threat match actually had some very good action. Should have been given more time. Should have been given the main event spot. We didn't need to see the Miz and Morrison versus Drew and Sheamus in the main event, even though it ended with a little bit of business being done between AJ and Drew McIntyre. It would have been much more effective to have the triple threat be the main event and have the show go off the air with the winner being promoted as the challenger for Drew McIntyre. You could have Drew come out to the stage and then fade to black with the two of them staring each other down. Would have been much more effective. But no, WWE's got to give you this match at the 10 o'clock hour, right at the start of hour number 3. As good as this match was, very predictable. There was no way AJ Styles wasn't going to win this matchup. And almost to the same vein as what's going on SmackDown, this is going to be, I think, just an interim feud for Drew. They're going to throw AJ Styles to him, and it's just going to be like a filler feud until they decide what to do with him going forward from WrestleMania. Or for WrestleMania, as the Royal Rumble is quickly approaching. They're going to start putting shit in position, and I don't think AJ is going to be the man. I wouldn't mind it, but I doubt it. Probably be a better thing than a long and lengthy Drew McIntyre run. I think seeing AJ be the WWE champion one more time, even with almost in his corner, I think we got some potential here. But I would have rather him stayed with Abyss. Why not? He should have kept the whole Abyss thing instead of bringing him in on with a new guy instead. Why not have them both? Why not? Then the show gets even worse. Dana Brooke defeats Reckoning with Mustafa Ali on the outside. Now, not only did Mia Yim lose her mask, which I don't think was supposed to happen, it seemed to have happened on accident, and hey, don't you think you should have tested this thing out first? And if you did test it, and it just randomly fell off you tonight, then consider it a message from the gods of wrestling. This is fate telling you to get the hell on out of there. Mercedes Martinez was smart enough to boot. And now here you are. You're in your debut match. And instead of doing the right thing and having Reckoning come out there and destroy Dana Brooke. Destroy her. Dana Brooke should have got 0 offense. Mia Yim should have came out there, wiped the floor with her, got the dominant win. And then tonight we would have had Slapnuts win, would have had Reckoning win. It would have really been a big night for Retribution, maybe seeing them trying to right the ship. But no, they didn't do the right thing here. They had her beaten by Dana Brooke in less than 5 minutes, which makes her threat level 0. Who's going to be scared of Reckoning now? What, did the mask contain all her power? Did she lose her mask and now she can't reckon anymore? I don't understand it. Why would you book her like this? Why would you book her to lose? And then to make it even worse, after she loses, she gets reprimanded and admonished by Ali outside the ring for being a failure. Great way to debut a talent on Monday Night Raw. Good way to get her to show some potential and to show the world that she's going to be a force to be. This was great. In fucking Bizarro World. This was great. MVP approached Matt Riddle again. Matt Riddle's talking about how losing sucks, bro, but, at least they made it, not like Bobby Lashley, man. And he talked about fucking donuts. Said something about some donuts. I don't even remember I think was the whole weedless with your cousins, and then you're going to go partner with Duncan and be like, I don't know. It was fucking out there. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. And then he got the Hurt Lock put on him for his trouble. Maybe Bobby Lashley knocked some fucking sense back into his brain, because this character change, this shift in the Riddle direction is just awful. It's awful. He's like a retarded Rob Van Dam. Is that what we need in pro wrestling? A retard RVD with no shoes on his feet. Holy shit. Then we get to Drew McIntyre in the ring, where he was just written some really poor shit. He was, it feels so good to be champion again. Sometimes you need to get knocked down to find your way back up and to find out what you're made of. Cliche after cliche after cliche. Ridiculous. He was talking shit about Roman Reigns. I'm gonna bring you back down to earth. Cliche. He kicked out after the spears, and Roman Reigns realized he was unlike any man you've ever faced before. Cliche! Roman Reigns only won because Jey Uso interfered. Probably not the case, but we know that's the story they're trying to tell. He said, our paths would cross again. You may have won the battle, but I will win the war. Cliche! Drew McIntyre with a cliche kick to the face. Never mind the Claymore. Then he turned his attention to AJ Styles. He had no problem with Styles. He's like, me and AJ Styles, we're going to have a great match. It's going to be phenomenal. Get it? Wink, wink. Dad joke. Not cliche, but, Stop it. He then told the world what we all already know, that the Miz shouldn't cash in on him, not because he's afraid of him, but because it's the only thing that's keeping him relevant. And then we had the match. He was all fired up. He's like, let's start the tag team match, after he ran out of the fucking cliches to say. We had Drew McIntyre and Sheamus defeating The Miz and John Morrison via disqualification, because AJ Styles, who was sitting on commentary with his buddy Almost, jumped into the ring, hit Drew McIntyre with a phenomenal forearm, securing them the victory. Now, this was all some sort of a plan by AJ, who had made it well known before the conclusion of this match that he would prefer it to be on The Miz, because The Miz will be an easy victory, whereas he'll have to actually put in a night of work to beat Drew McIntyre, which he says he would do regardless. So, of course, he doesn't care whether or not he does. It would just make for an easier night for him, which I thought was a great story for him to tell. But at the end of the day, this was just kind of too much. It was just done to maybe create a buzz. AJ Styles got the DQ, put Drew McIntyre in a poor position, tried to get The Miz to cash in the briefcase. Even John Morrison was like, bro, come on, he's down, cash in your briefcase. He goes to cash it in, but once again, Drew McIntyre fights his way out of it. And then next thing you know, there's a confrontation between him and AJ Styles, but AJ jumps over the top rope and ends up in the arms of Almost, who carries AJ Styles away as he talked trash the whole time. Like, he's carrying me here to protect you, Drew McIntyre. And it was mildly amusing, But I don't think it did this thing any favors. They thought everything tonight was a joke, right? But this shouldn't have ended as a joke. This should have been serious as a heart attack. Maybe even have AJ Styles attack and overcome Drew McIntyre thanks to his associate, Mr. Omos. Make him pay off in huge by having him give him the advantage over Drew McIntyre here as we start to build anticipation for a TLC pay-per-view, which as of this moment has a decent WWE Championship match. We could be happy about that. Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles have the capability to blow the house down. Or tear the house down. I don't want them blowing anything. But we'll have to wait and see as TLC is fast approaching as we get towards the end of December. And thank you guys all so very much for joining me for this Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. This show is really a chore. This is a tough gig to have to talk about this show. They don't really give you very many talking points. All they give me is negative things to say. So if you're mad that we were so negative for the last 35 minutes, don't blame me. Blame the creative, because they wrote this shit. I'm just reporting to you and giving you my ideas and what I would have done, which always is the better of the two options. Thank you all once again so very much. Hope you guys had a safe and happy Thanksgiving weekend. Now that that's all over, we could turn our attention towards Christmas. And if you want a decent gift and you want to treat yourself to something, treat yourself to some Sledgehammer merchandise. The Black Friday, the flack. Oh my God, I'm so fucking tired. The Black Friday sale is still on all week long until Friday night. You have until Friday to use code SLEDGE20 for 20% off at the checkout. Your entire order 20% off. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, stickers, face masks, all kinds of things there for you to show your loyalty to the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show by wearing the shield, the only shield left in professional wrestling and the only one that matters. The shield of the Sledgehammer can be yours. Look at those sweatshirts, man. They're pretty badass. I got mine. It's not here yet, but it'll be here soon. I got mine. I hope you guys can go get yours right now. teespring.com//sledgehammer-TV. Check the link in the description below for more details. What a poop hammer of a show this Monday Night Raw was, start to finish. Even the decent action in the triple threat cannot forgive this show for the quality being as terrible as it has been. Just really bad, man. It's not like SmackDown where you could be like, well, at least there was this. You know, at least we had Roman. We had Daniel Bryan. And, you know, we have some good stuff here, some good stuff there. Monday Night Raw is just a downhill coaster with no upswing, man. It's terrible. It's the dumpster fire we all claim it to be. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better before the end of the year. Hopefully, things get better next year. For you, for me, and especially for WWE. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. Now is the time, if you have not already done so, to hit that subscribe button. Please consider becoming a member of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Make sure your notifications are on. All notifications, sometimes notifications, however it is you want to set it up, but hit that notification bell so that you don't miss whenever a video that we put up drops live here on the channel. Now, like this video if you enjoyed anything I had to say. Obviously, if you're still here at 39 minutes, you had a good time tonight. You sit through the whole entire video and you need to hit that thumbs up right now. It really helps out the channel. And then share this video with somebody that you think would enjoy it just as much as you. Maybe one of your other wrestling friends all over the world. Who knows? Who knows? Send me wherever you want. Share us all over the world as we continue to strive to get to that 3,000 subscriber mark before the end of the year. Don't forget to check out anything you might have missed, which will be linked in the annotations up above for your convenience. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.